Uh, where are we on the chapter one? I know that you guys uploaded some of the chapters yesterday. I saw one email coming in today morning. Um, who wants to go first and take me through the chapter one and then ask any questions?
Good morning, Amila.
Hi, morning.
Good morning, Amila.
Morning, Sudhir. How is everyone doing? You have any physical classes today, or just this?
Yeah, there's
Yes.
one.
Yes.
What's the subject? I can't remember if I'm doing.
11:30 your subject, project design.
11:30 my surgery. Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay. Sama, shall we start with you? And then
Is it also
hey
here
guys,
with
also
me?
one.
Is it also here with me?
Okay. Superb. So you guys are already at next, that means.
Yeah.
Okay, superb. Okay, one thing. Sign now the documents, like every week when we do it, finish it off on that same day or the next day and send it, so then we can also have so then you're not going to fall behind on that as well, right? Because your weekly requirement is to get those submitted as well, right? So let's start with then, okay. Someone, you want to go first?
Okay, I'll get it. Yeah. How the document is available, Amila, I can go through it. Yeah, first my
If you
plan.
can share it, if you can share it and quickly run me through that. I didn't get a chance to look at it. I think it's uploaded to the Moodle, right? Moodle is going to be another bit of a slow process for us to open. So if you have the Word document there, just open it and share it on the Teams and just quickly run me through that. That's fine.
Yeah. Log with the phone. Okay, I'll try that one. Yeah, Sudhir, you can start. I'll check that document.
Okay. Who has it? No problem. Is that one of your new Brandix t-shirts what you're wearing? PDC. Or rather, Incube t-shirts.
No. It's an Incube one.
Is it? PDC. I see.
Yeah, it's
Is that?
okay. It's a PDC one. Sudhir, I think can you start? Then I'll ready the document.
Yeah, I think she's sharing it. Okay. So Sudhir, you're doing it on Linear.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, I mean, change, like, I like what you have done. So change the name, just fudge not like, just change
I take
numbers so it
as
doesn't,
ABC Holdings.
you take and copy it. Yeah. And, okay. All right. Okay.
First give the business organization introduction. I think I need to refine these things only.
Yeah.
A rough sketch. Is it okay?
When you here, this is not a finalized version, right? So what you're doing now is you're going to go through this and then help you refine this, so that by the time you submit this, it'll be a fully refined and fully thought through proposal, right? That's the whole objective. So if you can, on the business organization, if there is some infographic or like something that you can bring, it'll be a lot more easier, right? And it'll also help you some level of word count. Like, say, for example, if you want to create, like, say, now you have said, no, premium swimwear, 6,000 employees, produce 24 million pieces each year, right? So you can think about, okay, like, bring it in a visual, this thing saying, hey, maybe like, here are the brands, here's the number of people, here's the output that they have, so that you're showing it very visually, so that you can because there's no restriction on the number of pages, right? The restriction is on the number of words. So think about wherever you can use visuals to explain something. Using less sentences will help you save on some of the sentences for the key elements that you're going to bring in terms of your discussion points, the practical application.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then,
Where is this recording?
But then it's not recording. Let's put it on record. And I can't record how the student services. Called in and student service පැත්තේ. Jami. Next team student services, can we record this conversation so that they can listen to it later and maybe have a transcript ready?
Sachin හිටියනේ.
සතුටුන මැසේජ් එකක් දාන්න. So, can you record the right done.
I think මේ session එක record වෙනවද? It's recording Amila.
Okay, so
then core business and offerings.
Good.
Explain
Over
about
there.
the.
Yeah. Let me just quickly glance through this. The core business and offering. Okay, two key segments. So and referencing core business offering also. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
What I was trying to tell you was now here what you're saying is our core offering is two segments. මෙතන ඒකට පොඩ්ඩක් define කරන්න කියන්නේ whether you are a B2B or a B2C business කියන එකත් පොඩ්ඩක් කියන්න. Because what happens is you are setting, what you're doing is that you're giving an organizational introduction to set context to the problem you want to solve, and later onwards, you know how you're going to look at it. No, so there are methods like say providing similar solutions to segments. Okay, so and then bring in that element of saying, hey, it's a B2B business, so we are pretty much focused on like say few customers. The remaining 10% follows through on tech pack model, right? And also think about this, right? Now, when you talk about tech pack model, tech packs are very Apple manufacturing centric. So just give a little bit of explanation saying how it works so that you understand. And otherwise, if the person who's marking doesn't understand what tech pack means, they might not necessarily understand how the business works. So try to simplify that a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, I'm just giving you I'm just glancing through and giving. Some of your information might be there. I'm not reading through the full thing.
Okay.
Vision
Then
and offerings. Yeah. Okay.
Then I explain the current business vision in the APCA 2.0. There are new concepts come out. Then there are 5 under 5 pillars. We are running factory will run to achieve the vision.
Okay. Now, hold on. Back in there. So they and team also like think about this, right? So you have a vision, and that vision, that's your future statement.
Yeah.
Think about it from the point of view. How can you have quantifiable elements, right? Just scroll up a little bit towards the top. This one, where you have the vision and vision. Stop there, right? Here, when you're talking about 5 key pillars: profitable growth, capacity expansion, operational excellence, digital enablement, and sustainability. You might want to explain this a little bit to say, again, if you can use an infographic or something, then it will be good, right? So I don't know whether you're bringing some of these numbers later. Like say, for example, profitable growth, say our aspiration is annually X percentage of profitable growth So you're really setting the business context, right? And I'm sure those numbers are somewhere there. Mehma, you don't have to give the actual number, right? But what I'm saying is like we are say we do X revenue, but we are looking at, say at least 20, 30, whatever the number of X based on some of the things that we are looking at. So you're setting the context. So, and when you're defining the problem, it will be like, hey, we have this ambition, but we are not ready to get to that point. So you're going to show where the gap is.
Okay.
Hmm?
Current states I need to mention. Hope. This is the
Mehma, current
future
state.
state.
Yeah.
Ambition
So what you're talking about is
future
okay.
state එක.
Correct. Yeah. So
එතකොට
what you're
මම
looking at is
current
now.
state එක මෙතන mention කරන්න ඕනේ නේ.
Mehma, you figure out how you want to fit it, right? What I'm telling you is again, and for the rest of the team as well, right? When you're setting the business context, you are as at now you're at a certain stage now, right? Say for example, X number of employees, this many number of customers, we produce this much, and roughly say this is our revenue and this is our profitability, right? Now your future state would be you might want to have say double capacity, but say with maybe like 1.2 times human resource being added because you're looking at automation and things like that, right? So you might want to, and that's the way you're going to have better profitability. You get what I'm saying? For the apparel business, your challenge is, if you really think about it, you want to grow the business, but a business growth in relation, you can't add headcount.
Yeah.
So you will have to say, okay, we are looking at now. You said 24 million or 25 million garments for a year, Kela. Say that you want to double that within the next 5 years, Kianako. Does it mean that you're going to double the headcount, right? Which means your net profitability will, to a large extent, will start deteriorating because of the cost of production, cost of labor, everything will go up, and you will have market pressures to bring the price down from the revenue point or the brand's point of view. So it doesn't make a good business case. So you have to be very clear. Here's where we are. Here's our ambition. And then you will start seeing, okay, where can I tweak? You might have a problem saying, okay, I won't be able to add capacity immediately because it's a huge capex. But can I improve more capacity with the same existing workforce? Or can I do more value added? So those are the conversations you can open up when you start really putting some of those number clarity onto the assignment. Makes sense? You're looking at 15% net profit, right? Okay. අපේ apparel set එකේ 15% net profit මේ දවස්වල දුවන්න පුළුවන්. අමාරුයි නේ.
ඔව් දැනට වෙයි.
Okay. I can't.
ඒක
Okay.
තමයි
Then
උනට ambition එක මේ ආශික් ඉතින් සෙට් කරලා තියෙන්නේ විෂන් එක මෙතෙන්ට තමයි.
okay. No, I get it. Nah, so think about this, right? Say that for argument's sake, your current net profits 5% කියන්නකෝ. හරිද? So you're looking at almost like what do you call 3x net profit growth. හරිද? ඔයාට 3x net profit growth එකක් එන්න top line එකේ මොනවද කරන්න ඕනේ? Production level, human resource පැත්තේ මොනවද වෙන්න ඕනේ? Systems පැත්තේ මොනවද වෙන්න ඕනේ? Right? So you have to think about those elements, Sudhira, and rest of the team as well. Why we are going through this and reviewing this is so that you can learn from each other and also start picking holes and gaps in this so that we keep refining this, right, as we move forward. So that it will give you a good understanding how to structure the cost. See, if your biggest problem is the net profitability, if you want to run 15%, you won't be able to achieve that 15% the way you run the operation right now. And that can be a problem there. You say, okay, this is how we are looking at doing a transformation. Or, I mean, like again, even if you increase the number of customers and then add more capacity, you still will run into the same problem because your operations would not be that efficient, and that's why your net profits will keep coming down. Okay. Okay. Then digital maturity and current challenges. Okay, although product slow down, right? System such a Methana, you will have to explain the challenge a little bit deeper, right? And what I'm saying is you're touching upon the systems, right? But how does this impact your net profits? So maybe it might be a issue in terms of because of the process you have, the length of time from the time you get the say the customer order to ship it out, your time to shipping out is quite long. Whether there's a way you can bring that down, right? So you have to explain why your net profit is suffering. If that is the main problem you're going to address, try to explain that from that point of view, right? See what happens is now you have identified few pillars. You have given this is where we want to grow. Then you have to link. Okay, what is going to hold you back from that projected growth? You have to bring out a little bit more strong, right? So limited
Okay.
collaboration, yeah. So if you can say things like, I'm just saying, yeah. Again, I haven't worked on the core apparel side of things, but I'm thinking you have two customers. They give you a tech pack, or rather, you guys work with them on a tech pack, and by the time you send it out, say, what's the average time span that you would have?
Our tech pack business initial samples around 3 weeks. Then
3 weeks.
altogether 100 start to end shipment.
100 days, ne?
Around 100 days. It's
Around.
depend on the customer, but average time.
Okay, now think about this, right? So 100 days ke liye kya Sutira? One of the biggest problems is technically if the customer like the issue is if you know that 100 days ke liye that is cost to the company, no? Right?
Yeah, it's
Because
only for the development.
labor.
Production need to at the 6 weeks.
Yeah, ඒක තමයි. නෑ ඒතර yeah එතකොට අපි 106 weeks කියලා කියන්නේ ඒතර yeah 106 weeks කියලා කියන්නේ කීයද 7යි 6යි 20. Oh man. I don't know. 42. Yeah. Yeah, 45. එතකොට දවස් 150ක් විතර වෙනවනේ. හරිද? So what I'm trying to tell you is that අපි දැන් ඒ කියන්නේ they customer might be paying you something, they might pay you the full amount at the end of that 150 days, right? When you start shipping out. But imagine the cost you have in between, right? And I think that's what you need to do. If there's a way for you to work on reducing that time frame is one question, right? So that every day you're going to save will add to your net profits in a certain sense, if that's the case. So try to articulate it like that. So you should show my systems ඔක්කොම තිබ්බත් අපිට දවස් 150ක් යන on average from the time the customer gives us a tech pack to develop it and deliver it ඔක්කොම කරලා දවස් 150ක් යනවා. One of the best ways to save money within the apparel sector would be to reduce that number of days, no, because you're having a work in progress, right? Which means at every step you're going to have a cost. The other one is system. Okay, so if you explain that and then why it's happening, so you're a digital majority, and then also try to bring that Saldana's 5-stage. Make and talk about how that also fits in. You can touch upon this and then later onwards bring it a little bit more strongly to show that here, this is where we are, but here where we are suffering. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Let's move on. Yeah. අපිට අද කොච්චර කරලා තියෙනවද? 5ක් තියෙන.
1.5.
Sorry. Okay. This option, okay. It also makes So again, Sudhir, I want you to explain the business problem a little bit more in depth and give like a proper problem statement. Huh?
Okay. Sorry?
No, so keep scrolling. I'll tell you to stop. Okay. So make it, if you can bring the Pestel framework, right? And have some visual elements, so you're not just, it is a report, right? But add some visual elements also so that there's a little bit more, what we call, you break the monotony of reading a report.
Okay, Amila, I only not complete.
No, that's okay. I'm just giving you tip so that you
Okay.
can work on it. Huh? I'm not
Okay.
like,
Thank you.
I'm not saying, yeah. Okay. And make a political study in Sri Lanka remains crucial factor. Part of මෙතන පුළුවන් නම් to make it a lot more focused towards your organization, right? Again, I don't know how the political environment here is affecting your specific business. So think about, so there's a, when these special things happen, you have a industry-wide impact to start with, and then also your specific business there's impact. ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් you will have to, the political stability being a crucial factor that shape investor confidence. Is like when you're making that, say whether you're going to have the investors, whether they will be, whether there's any indication that they're going to pull out the investment, or whether they're going to shift it to another market, right? Which will give you a better this thing, because you're also like a regional player, right? Because you're not just supplying from Sri Lanka. No? Whether there's a capacity shift that would happen to a different country because of this political instability that we might have, and if that's the case, what are the options? And you might want to. Here's the other thing, right? When you're starting, you had the thing. You have Sri Lanka and Vietnam. But you also need to think about, okay, then you're going to narrow it down a little bit, because see, otherwise you have two different pestle environments, right? One is the foreign environment or the other country, and then you have the Sri Lankan environment. So then you can also say on that problem statement, for the purpose of this report, we are only going to look at the Sri Lankan operation, because then you're narrowing it down, because you don't have to think about the other component as well, because otherwise it will be two different analysis, right? Make sense?
Yes.
ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් set up කරන්න so that the examiner wouldn't get confused. Okay, she has spoken about this broad organizational problem. She had narrowed it down to the Sri Lankan operation. So because of that, we are now going to look at the Sri Lankan market, pestle and what do you call the competitive forces and all that. And සමහර වෙලාවට consumers increasing demand transparency, ethical sourcing, and traceability, right? Now, political and economic environments, you have that applies here. And then also, actually, I mean, Sri Lankan market context එක ගත්තම පස්සේ, the country you're supplying also has impact, no? So touch upon that now, right? So they're asking ethical sourcing and traceability. I think one of the problems here is when you talk about ethical sourcing and traceability, does it mean that you do that, can you get a higher premium price, right? That's also not the case, right? If my understanding is that they want it ethically sourced, but they're not willing to pay a premium price, so that puts you in a pickle, right? So you need to bring some of those elements. Yeah.
Our labor cost also very high, like these things.
Yeah. So what you need to think about is that when you're doing the pestle, there are some ground level issues that you're going to face because of the geography you're in, right? And then also because of the geography you're shipping it from to, means that your source market is also have certain elements. So I compare කරන්න, and then also be very clear, right? Sri Lankan operations මෙන්න මේ ටික hit වෙනවා. පස්සේ business එක මොනවාද, what do you call, when you're shipping it out, it gets impacted because maybe the economic trade agreements are not the best when you're shipping out from Sri Lanka. So bring all those things, right? And then at all these elements, if you can also bring some level of, say you made the comment saying Sri Lankan labor is expensive. If you can say in comparison to India or some like a similar market, what is that? When you say expensive, how much more expensive? Right? I'll give you an example. Say, what is your hourly wage for? Like, is there a number that you use? Like, I'm just saying for argument's sake. Say in Sri Lanka, your hourly wage is $15. But hypothetical, but India, if you produce it, your hourly wage is $10. So you have a 50% more expensive labor force because of that. So if you can bring some level of elements like that, it makes your argument a lot more stronger. See, now your problem is going to be because of how Sri Lanka is set up. You can't reduce that labor cost, no. that means you have to find a way to save cost from other elements, right? Correct? Make sense, right?
Yes.
So then technology, but okay, rapid transforming with adoption of 3D design, artificial intelligence, okay. But um, here what you need to say is technological, and it applies to others as well, right? Apparel industry, yes, they're adopting technology, but are they drastically transforming, right? Because I feel like they're adapting these technologies and they're just playing around with it, but they're not really transforming the apparel industry, right? If that's the case, you're kind of bringing new technology, but you're still stuck. And specifically for your organization, how is it impacting? Because you might have now expensive systems, but it still goes back to you're still shipping a product, final product after 150 days, right? Ideally, what you should be looking at, okay, we have had all this technology, but here we are still not able to bring the labor cost down. The way you can bring the labor cost down is producing more with less, right? And then the other way you can bring the production or rather your cost down is by having technology that enables you to reduce the timeline. So, Eva, to see how you can bring those nuggets in to link to your business problem. Environmental strict sustainable standards, yes. So there are certain things. Um, I'm assuming Sri Lanka has a certain set of things, and the markets that you're shipping to has a certain set of things. Think about when you do all those things also, how does that add, right? Even for you to have that, Higgs index and all that stuff, you have a cost, no? See how those things, and some of these things are given, right? You can't really change it. But if that's the case, where do you find efficiency? So all this, what they're doing is that they're adding certain costs. How you should be looking at it is, okay, if you want to hit that 15% profitability, how do we navigate through these different elements and where do we start seeing? Like it's almost like your lean principles, no? And then where do we cut cost bit by bit? So from a business model point of view, I have the same thinking pattern in place. Yeah? And also think about aspects like how you can run customer relationships a lot more effectively, right? Whether there's like digitization opportunities for the tech packs, right? And and you only do samples like you digital samples, but once they're like say 90% confident or something, you send the physical sample. So you'll reduce significantly on the sampling cost, maybe timeline, stuff like that, right? So think about those elements based on your external environment scan. Yeah. Let's go on to the industry pressures. Okay. Who won now, Sudhir? Okay. Industry. New entrants would be almost your new entrants. But here's something interesting. Significant entry barriers. The rise of what I know. The new entrants, five forces. Okay. Have you identified any new entrants who's stepping into the same space as what? Because you're a B2B business, no? And then you're the B2C part where the brands are working on, right? Um, you see whether the brands are going to have their own set of things rather than working with external suppliers, which doesn't make any sense. Or do you see any new entrants that are not from the industry coming in? Because you mentioned about digital first brands. How does that impact your business? Yeah, sure, I understand. Sudhira,
Hello.
you understood the question that I asked, right? I said,
Please,
yeah.
please repeat.
So I was asking, capital requirements and compliance standards create significant entry barriers. The rise of digital first brands. Who's your competition here, the new entrants? Give me an example.
Could you please explain again? Sorry.
No, it's okay. No problem. Now, on your threat of new entrants, you have said, there's compliance standards create a significant entry barrier. Kiyala. Then you have also said the rise of digital first brands, right? And nearshoring. Are you referring to like substitutes for Nike, or are you referring new direct competition for apparel manufacturing? Methana, when you say digital first brands.
දැන් Nike වගේ ඒවා ගත්තහම ඔක්කොම samples එහෙම digitally use කරන්න අරගන්නවා. ඊට අමතරව අස්මාරා වියට්නාම් ඊගවට අස්මාරා SL majority of bulk යන ඔක්කොම samples ඒගොල්ලන්ට digitally use කරන්න ගන්නවා. දැන්
Okay.
දැනටත් currently 3D samples තමයි FY එකේ අපි PP sample එකට අමතරව හැම digital samples offer කරනවා. ඒ වගේ දේවල් තියෙනවා.
Okay. Sudhira, what you need to do is you need to explain this a little bit and also give say technically at the moment your competition is someone else who's manufacturing similar products. No? Now what they're doing is because they're going digital doesn't mean that there's a new entrant coming in, right? So you're talking about new entrants. You have to be very clear saying, yeah. So how if there are new like say for example, I'm assuming, say you take you're on a very specific category. No? Think about on your swimwear category.
Swimwear
Who are the
category
guys?
එක ගත්තහම ලංකාවෙත් අපිට competitors ඉන්න example Incube දැන් අපිට තියෙන order offline වගේ ගත්තහම ඒගොල්ලෝ ඒක එහෙමම duplicate කරනවා. ඒ වගේ ටිකක් තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඒක කියන්නේ නෑ ඒක අපේම samples ඒගොල්ලන්ට යවලා duplicate කරන scene එකක් තිබ්බා.
Okay.
එතකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ
Now,
new entries ලා වෙනවා කියන්නේ අපිනේ කියන්නේ sorry දැන් අපි ගත්ත company එක මේක leading company එක වුණාට ශ්‍රී ලංකාවල swimwear වලට අර වගේ දේවල් new entries එනකොට අපේ order quantities ගොඩක් අඩු වෙන ප්‍රශ්න ඒ වගේ ටිකක් තියෙනවා.
okay, understood, right? So you have to define that clearly, right? එතකොට මෙතන වෙන්නේ so මෙතන again when you're doing this you have to also assess saying threat of new entrants. Is it high, medium, or low, right? Here, your thing is not that you have new entrants entering the market per se, but you're actually what's happening is your rivalry among the industry is very high, right? And so it's about the threat of new entrants, like a completely new industry, right? Because of the capital investment and the way things are set up. Correct? Or is it that there are companies who are taking part
But
of
the thing
your
not only for the Sri Lanka, most of these tags moved to the China due to the less low labor cost. China and the India, Bangladesh, these countries, other thing, materials අපිට නැති නිසා materials ඒගොල්ලෝ එහෙම produce කරන නිසා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ගොඩක් cost එක අඩුයි. ලංකාවේ competitors ලා new entries විතරක් නෙමෙයි තියෙන්නේ.
say China also not new. China market is very big, no. So when you're saying new entrants, if they're like maybe that example. Now see what happened to the car industry in Sri Lanka, right? So car industry in Sri Lanka was dominated by brands like Toyota and all this and Hyundai, right? They had agents, right? Say for example, you had Toyota Lanka, you had Hyundai Sri Lanka, right? And then suddenly JKCG, right, came and launched BYD, right? So JKCG was a new entrant. You get what I'm saying? එතකොට ඒ වගේ new entrants ලා ඔයාගේ space එකේ end is it the threat is high, medium, or low? That's a question I'm asking. Because what you're describing to me, Sudhira, is within the industry, the competition is high. And when I say within the industry, not just Sri Lanka, but like say, you have to then, this goes back to Pesteleka. Pesteleka, you have to then explain saying you're focusing on the Sri Lankan market business, but you have a significant threat from, what do you call, um, not maybe technological factors relating to what China is doing because their cost of production is low because they have, like you figure out where you want to plug that in. Uh, so and then also what you just described to me was your bargaining power suppliers, no? Because you don't have enough suppliers in Sri Lanka to be competitive because it's outside. Means that your Chinese suppliers, all of them supply across many other, I mean, again, you're doing volume, but they also can supply to their local. I mean, like apparel sector is complicated because of that, right? Because it's not a straight pestel or a Porter's five force analysis because you have so many different elements. Then bargaining power of buyers is also high because of that, right? Because buyers now have the option of either coming to Sri Lanka to you or going to China and getting what they want at maybe, at 30% less cost, for argument's sake. You have to explain that a little bit. Threat of substitutes. What do you think the threat of substitutes are going to be? I think that's also going to be very low for an industry like this because you still need to have a certain quality, hand feel, all that stuff, right? So for me, in your particular case, the biggest threats are your suppliers, what they can do, industry rivalry, not just in terms of Sri Lanka, but what the industry rivalry you're facing from the region, and also the bargaining power of buyers. Threat of new entrants would be medium in my view because it's going to be tough for someone to come and set up and total new person to come and set up and get it going. And then also threat of substitute is a little bit low in my view because um, for you to replace a product which is giving a variation of a basic need, which is falling under clothing, but the way you're fulfilling is different. So that is going to be a little bit tough, right? But otherwise, our Anit Tulanang product is very this thing, right? Or what do you call the threats are very high on those three categories what I just described. Make sense? Internal analysis and relevance of current business model. Otherwise, I feel like I'm spending too much time here.
Yeah, Amila.
Internal analysis and relevant. Okay. Your current business model. Okay.
There
Here,
are 12 pages, only discuss 6. Is it okay to continue? Other one, give chance for the internal analysis.
let's do this, right? We'll go through this and then the others will look at what are the elements that are missing, right? Because that's why I said I'm going through this so that others also can learn and adapt, right? So guys, this is not me trying to focus only on Sudhira's one, but I'm picking holes on this so that you also can see whether the same holes are there on what you guys have written so that you can, what do you call, make sure that you address those when we are doing the next round. And shall we do it in person? I think it's a lot more interesting, no? If we do it this in person, I feel like otherwise I feel like I'm just talking to myself because none of you have your cameras now. That's okay. Let's quickly go to the business model, Sudhira. Okay, so method, okay, current business model, but when it comes to digitization, companies still only partially connected. Now, so you're making a statement saying strong business model, right? Over the years. I think one of the questions you need to, they are not synchronized. Say, my thinking is that I would almost change this thing. We have had a strong business model, but it hasn't evolved. And hence, you might want to show your current business model canvas like a product method. I think that will be a good one. And then show how you manage that, and then explain where you have leakages on the business model.
Business canvas include, yeah.
If you don't have it, just add it there and say this is my
I
current
did
business model.
last
Hmm?
pages. I did
Okay.
in the last pages.
Okay. Reference because why I'm saying this is you are now what you're doing with this proposal. This is where the current business model is, and because of this problem, we will either change this business model or we'll create a new business. Those are your options. Okay. 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 All right. And then also relevance of current business model. Okay. Stream mapping. Okay. Business model canvas. For dynamic, no? I'm just asking, right? So you're saying demonstrate significant strengths as a joint venture. Now, see, take the bias out and see because you have a holding company and because you have that partnership with Speedo. Yes, they are a dedicated customer. But what happens, right? You know what I'm saying? So think about those elements as well, because when you're saying significant strengths, you have to be don't be biased, right? Because you're part of the organization. Address the issue because your business model is really about what is the value proposition you're creating. How do you deliver that value proposition through different channels? Your customers, right? So you have to make sure that you are really capturing that. What is the current version of the business model that can be like say for example, as at now you are on what do you call your servicing is mainly through the customer relationships are managed through what emails. What are the other tools you're using?
Um, some PLM system.
Maybe that
Mainly email.
mainly email. Right?
Yeah.
Now, like say for example,
Sorry.
because you're in a B2B environment, it's very tough to change some of those things, right? For argument's sake, because customer is somewhere else, you are here. Maybe some of the things that you can do is that you can start thinking about how do we streamline these relationships. What do we need to have? Right? That's what. Um, and more importantly, I think when it comes to your business model, where you can really play around these with your supply side, because your customer relationship angle might be a little bit difficult to change because of the way it's been structured and because you're dependent on it. But on the supply side, whether there's like automation that can happen, like say for example, whether you have like say a strong supplier that you can directly connect with, there might be certain things that you can do, but it's going to be very difficult because they will work on different systems, you're working on different systems. But think about those elements that you can have or craft on your business model that can change the game. Example, right? How fanatics are like, they don't necessarily have like, their own manufacturing per se, but they have a strong relationship with different entities and they service them very effectively through by distributing that manufacturing part, right? Even for you, one of the things you can do is that you can maybe create certain strategic partnerships with regional players, and you can look at how can we do things very efficiently. So think about those elements. Huh? Let's move on. Okay. Let's stop here for a second. Now, when you're doing the SWOT checker, start with the opportunities and threats. So you will arrive at the opportunities and threats based on the external scan what you have done. Okay. Then with that, think about what are my organizational strengths that I can leverage to capture those opportunities? What are my organizational weaknesses that would hinder me from going after those opportunities, and also what are my weaknesses that would stump me or stumble me because of the threats that are rising. So you have to think about it from that lens. So you are saying
Okay.
companies in Vietnam and Bangladesh have times by cutting lead 25%. Um, so it's a competitive threat, right? So එතකොට ඒක කොහොමද මේ පැත්තට weakness එකක් වෙන්නේ? So you can talk about that when it comes to the weakness saying we still use legacy systems to do our cutting, for argument's sake, or we are reliant on manual side of it, which increase our cost. ඒ වගේ. Yeah.
Yes, okay, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Let's go to who wants to go next. And what we'll do is that we'll glance through it and see whether there are other missing elements or components that we can work on. Who wants to go next?
So I will.
Samad?
Yeah, I will take a minute.
Okay.
Super.
I think I share the screen, Amila.
I can see it, yeah.
Yeah. From in here, Amila, I summarized. Basically, I put the some summary points for the analyst for this my
That's
topic.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
came to that detail for this one.
No
I
problem.
planned to do the digital pattern creations with the AI automations. Then I search for the website and other resources and refer to some people as well. To see the how the possibility to continue this project. One is but as I last time also told, technical side there are some concerns on this one because of that digital pattern creations with the AI automation is still I couldn't find any some provider for that one because of there was can't find some total solution for that one. When you look the supply level, some Flow has initiated some initial step for the starting the digital pattern creations with the when we put it the spec measurements and something like that, they automatically create the some pattern, but they are coming with the some few silhouettes only. When you get the some t-shirts they can do, we can't do the other products, something like that. But it considering that project initiative or the implementation, I did the analysis for this one for the internally and external side. What would be the our strength and the weakness others in the particular side? How is going on? These are the details for that one. But still, I am having some concern with the how the feasibility and how that means that who the provider is giving to that my requirement. That is still have to something to look and find in. But as I check, there's some still in the starting point. I think for the company side as well for some providers, they don't have some perfect solution for that this topic. But anyway, I think that will come in the future to some level. Considering I am start this project and this initiative, how we'll look the threat and other things. Yeah.
So, someone, here's the thing, right? You will have to look at, say, from Incube point of view, see where this fits in from the broader business problems that Incube is facing, right? Again, I'm not too familiar with the environment or the company, how it works, right? But see where that, so you will have to describe that a little bit more in depth, right? Because see what's happening now is you have a certain solution, or rather say a certain problem that you are looking at, and then you also have a certain solution that you have some level of hypothesis built around, right? See whether that solution is how do I say this? Whether that solution is, or rather that whether that problem is a big problem for Incube to solve, and whether there are other ways. Like, and for you to do that, you will have to do the external scan, the internal scan, and then really link it to, because you have this issue where it's hitting Incube from a business point of view, right? Um, digital pattern creations with AI automation. Again, slightly digressing from our conversation here. I know that there are certain platforms that is not from typically from the apparel side of things, but you would be able to take certain APIs and then feed your own data, and then you can start modeling some of these things what you're talking about, right? The problem is once you do that, and then if there's no business case for it, it will be a waste of effort and resources, right? So make sure that when you're doing this, that you capture the right essence, so that this is not another white elephant in the room. You get what I'm saying? Because I know that apparel
Yeah.
sector has like a lot of projects that has happened, and then they are like also like they've tried to solve similar problems, similar iterations, but it hasn't gone into commercialization, right? So maybe in your case, one is that your ecosystem might be a challenge. The second part of it would be the internal adoption might be a challenge, right? Because ultimately what happens is you have certain key stakeholders within your organization who's going to say, listen, this is not the way we're going to do this. This is how we handle things, right? So I think for you to do this, you need to really strongly bring in, okay, from a, say, your pestle point of view, how the technology is changing, all that stuff. And from a business point of view, what the customers are asking for, right? And with that, how this will bring the benefit, and this is why we need to do it. So you need to make that justification very clear. Otherwise, you lose points on that.
Yeah. For the in this case, Amila, yeah, I'm clear on that your point. Uh, Currently, we don't have the problem to this point because of that is signed the some setup scenario and setup progress to do the pattern making and other things is there. But this is something like we can put that some disruption solution or some something like that improvement innovation something like that. Now I'm trying to look at how is the market is there to get the data and what are the potential, what are the opportunity we are having to get bring to some AI with collaborating AI to automate the pattern making. That is I'm
Yeah.
looking side, but when a business point of view, there's a no because of the there's a no problem or gap to solve. But if
Yeah,
we implement
but
this point, we are having the some opportunity to improvement, some disruption to that current process and some getting the improvement, the business improvement, everything
yeah,
is there.
yeah, but you said දැන්ට තියෙන්නේ manual pattern making නේ.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
So manual pattern making.
Yeah, manual can system making කරන the human කවුරු හරි කෙනෙක් ඔපරේට් කරලා කරන්න ඕන එක.
ඒක තමයි. So එතකොට you still have human intervention there, but what you need to understand is, okay, you have a system, you have the human resource element involved in that. So when you map that someone and see කොච්චරක් වෙලා යනවද ඒ function එකකින්, if you actually now digitize this and bring a system, what is the saving you can bring in?
Yes.
So එතකොට ඔයාට ඇත්තටම ඔයාගේ business problem එක තියෙන්නේ, if you were to articulate this properly, what you're trying to do is that there's a manual process that you're having within your organization that is most probably adding strain to your, say, මේ pattern හදන්න යන වෙලාව, ඒකේ කියන මේවා දැන් එක එක process එක ඇති කොහේ හරි elements, because there's a human element in it. So you should be able to then address all that with this solution. I'm not saying that this solution is bad, or rather the area what you're looking at. But what you need to do is that, now you said business might not have problem, but I think the problem is because you have a manual process, it might be a longer process that you maybe can shorten and then bring more efficiency by doing this. I would look at it like that.
Yeah. Yes, it's clear. There's a big opportunity with that one. If when we convert into this, yeah, we need to point it correctly. What are the benefit and what is the outcome will come with that initiative. That is the I think we need to clearly.
I'll give an example. Yeah. I'll give you an example, right? Because see, what happened was when I was doing Gamer Tech, we were not using Gerber, we were using Illustrator. So Illustrator එක තමයි අපි files මේවා ගන්න. අපි හැම වෙලේම ඒක Illustrator එකෙන් file එක කළා pattern එකකට ඒක එවුවයින් පස්සේ ආ Gerber එකේ open කරායින් පස්සේ file එක not compatible, right? ඒ කියන්නේ මේ elements එහෙට මෙහෙට ගිහිල්ලා then pattern එකේ say you have sent me the wrong file. හරිද? But imagine, like, not everyone can afford to have Gerber, right? Because Gerber is expensive. And then you have one license and that's been shared, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately, we had to buy a Gerber license simply because we couldn't send them the files and then it was a AI kya apa wada karana. So what happened was, um, imagine if I can say I have a product design, you are able to now use an AI element and break it down to be a compatible file with Gerber, right? For the customers, like when a file formats or whatever with the patterns, they're not going to send you as a Gerber file, right? I don't know. I'm asking this question
Yeah.
because I don't know, right? Imagine now you are able to, rather than getting someone and getting a pattern maker to feed that to Gerber and, do the Gerber files. Imagine you can, use a solution to convert those files, whatever file format, right? It can be a PDF, it can be an Illustrator file, whatever. AI is now have some level of vision
No.
capabilities. You extract that, convert that to a Gerber file, that goes straight into. I think you are onto something, right? I'm not. I think there's an opportunity, but you still
Yeah.
need to go a little bit deep and start diving into it because it'll be a good problem to solve.
Yeah. Okay, Amla. Got it.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else,
Okay.
someone you want to make it with
No, I
another?
think this is the analysis part done is for that sort is done and the pestle also done, which is for the with the scenario. Yeah, I will outline the what we discussed and this is more input for the start. Continue with the seminar. I will do that now.
Okay,
Yeah.
super. All right. Who's going to go next?
Let me share
Okay.
screen. Amila.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let's go.
So,
I'm going to order the camera because I'm going to head towards next time. You start.
this is introduction organization profile. So, we core business and offering. So mainly we design, concept creation, pattern and engineering, material sourcing, material innovation and engineering solution, merchandising and posting, sample development and so on. So, and we have incubees like a innovation center, like a biomechanics testing, material testing, and comfort evaluation. So, go to the external analysis. So, we analysis political, and economic, social, and technological, and so I put the impact for the company also. So, example for the technology rapid adoption, 3D design, AI and automation, and apparel AI&D. So retain we have to integrate these tools as for the competitor. So likewise, I put the impact also in front of the factor. So
Okay. This is a good one. So rest of the team also take a note. You don't have to replicate this, but what I'm saying is that it's what do you call? It's a good way to look at it because you're now showing this is what is the key factor, but this is how it's impacting the organization, which is a good approach to have. Let's move on.
yeah, next foster 5 process. Also, I put the description and the implementation for the ABC, our company. So like threat and threat from the new interests like that. And bargaining power of the customers is very high. I put the moderator and the level of the impact also, the high, moderate, and the low likewise. So the mainly is the bargaining power of the customer is the high because that is the main important in brand. Then move to the internal analysis, business model analysis, business canvas. Value question is mainly from the apparel garment manufacturing, key activities, design concept creation, material sourcing, testing, pattern engineering, garment sewing, costing, and production handover. Key partners is Activa, Intimate brands. Key resources is skill technical workforce, SAP, ERP centric PLM. But these tools are not interconnected. This data is siloed. So main channel is directly brand communication, email. So, but sometimes we use digital, like Closet. Closet One is a digital platform, like Athlete our brand. So we use that platform also, digital platform. But mostly we use email and mostly we use email and PLM. So renew or development service and the project and the manufacturing, mainly manufacturing. So internal gap analysis I did. So the main thing is the lead time. So external expert is 6 to 8 week, but so there is a gap internally because of the people and the sample room timelines exceed time. Sample cost also we have to minimize. So currently still we use digital tool, but not replace the physical garment. So the high cost for the sample, that is the gap. So material transparency currently we send the material lab to get the approval, but the gap is we can go to the digital material approval. So that get the very fastly. Digital integration, PRM, ERP system not in should be connected, but in not in connected there is a gap. So that fragmented data also we have to connect it. That is the gap we have to fill. Data intelligence also predictive analysis and AI support decision pattern making and material analyzing. This is that is the expectation, but statistical data and unstructured data and some data is saved in their own location. So data in not a single platform, not in the central platform. So that is the gap we analyze because AI and that tool we cannot get because of that data is not a single location. So I analyze the SWOT analysis also strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. So then moving to the recommendation. So process optimization. So we have to use lean product for the product development to identify the wastage and to improve, and the digital and AI solution, AI driven pattern making, because to speed up the sample room process, the pattern making time we have to reduce. So that's why we have to use AI and pattern making engineering. So go to the sample, we have to use digital for sample, visual validation, virtual validation to reduce the lead time and the sample. So another thing is PRM, PLM, and ERP systems. We have to integrate it together with the brand system also. And the fourth one is digital material library. So we have developed the digital material library to get the approval easily, because otherwise we have to send the physical search to get the approval. And the third one is data analysis and predictive intelligence. So centralized database, we have to create the pattern blocks, materials, and all thing in the one location. So we can get that data. With approved data also we can use for the new development. Otherwise we doing the same thing. We have to do the new. Other thing we have to start from the newly. But if you have that centralized database, so we can start from that point. So we can reduce the lead time and the sample also. So smart style template also, that means we can create the template based on the previous data. This kind of garment, this kind of thing can be happen. Previously have happened. Based on that, new one can be happen. So likewise, we can go with the predictive analysis for the new style. Otherwise, if we haven't the data, previous data in single location, or if we haven't analyzing, so we're doing the same mistake in the new style also. Customer collaboration also, we can move to the like a digital platform like a Closetto, like a StyleZone. This digital platform. We can upload our digital garment in that platform, so that customer can comment on that garment, and we can get the all approval stages using this platform, because it's a interconnected and real time. We can get the feedback from the brand. That is really important. And other thing is, if you send the sometime we send the garment to the different location, maybe UK, maybe China, but there's a different model, so we can get the different feedback from the same garment. So what we have, but if you use one digital platform like a digital garment, so everyone can see the one garment. So we can use that one platform to share with the old one. So we can get the easy feedback from the brand. And the people and culture also we have to improve, because most of people from the traditional background, so we have to improve their digital skill. Otherwise, this project will not success, because people drive this project. So we have to skill their digital. So expected outcome is lead time, sample cost wastage. We have planned to reduce, material upload speed up, data utilization, and customer collaboration. So that's the analysis part.
Right. So let's do this. What do you call? But I would like to see is bring the business problem a little bit more strongly, right? Your analysis part I think is good, but set context, right? Same feedback what I gave Sudhira and then also someone set the context. You spoke about a single platform so that you can manage all that feedback and all that. How does it like? So because of how you are running the business now, it's scattered. It's not communicating with each other. What is the impact to the business? Right? It might be like say missed opportunity. It might be like inefficient way of servicing, whatever it is, right? So you describe that, you set context. So the whole idea of that first chapter is to really dive into that detail and then jump into that. Guys, I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to get into the cab now. Another. Be online. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll quickly go down, get into the cab, and I'll connect via the phone. Is that okay? Be online.
Okay.
And then, good. Isido, what I think your one is clear. It's similar to what Sudhira is doing in a sense, but obviously it's addressing a very different aspect of it. But do that, Rajita. I'm going to get back to you now. Just give me a second. I'm going to quickly get to the cab and call you from there. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Amila, since you are coming at 11:30, I can even talk to you at that time. Okay.
Hello. Hi, Rajita. Sorry, I'm back.
Hi, Amila. No, I was trying to tell you that you're anyway coming to the institute, no, at 11:30.
Yeah, I'm coming to the institute, but
Oh,
we have to do the other class,
um,
but we can finish it off.
yeah. I mean, I don't have anything to put on screen. I'll put it on next time, but I have a few clarifications
Yeah.
to make because when I start working on this. Now,
Mm.
what I told you was like, this is, I'm looking at a bit of a larger project here. There are,
Yeah.
there are three components. One is
Mm.
current and savings account customer onboarding.
Yeah.
The second one is fixed deposit customer onboarding, and the third
Okay.
one is a bit of a larger scope, which
Mm.
covers the low account operations of a banking branch.
Mm.
So when I look at the benefits and all of that, now if you say current and savings account
Hello,
onboarding, I see
Rajit.
clear. Yeah, can hear.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can hear. I can hear. Yes.
Yeah. So in current and savings account onboarding, I see a clear 10x improvement, and then I can
Mm.
establish it and then take it forward. But some of the other things, the
Mm.
benefits and the benefits and all are varies. Like, so how do I present it, Amila, when it comes to multiple activities? Because it is not my worry is, should I take in that case only cars onboarding, or on the other hand, I like to take the entire thing also, because that gives a real value and a benefit to a
Mm.
conventional branch banking setup. But
Yeah. Understood.
yeah,
No, so look at it from this point of view, Rajit, right? Um,
yeah,
your challenge is your trip, like what we call it the triple constraint: time, people,
that's
and
right.
then so when you take
Totally.
those,
Yeah.
see where you can look at it from few different lenses, right? One is
Yeah.
where can I make the maximum impact in the shortest possible time, right? So now you have three
Okay.
different projects now. What was the third
Yeah.
project? Sorry, the third one was the back office. Sorry, please
Lower
confirm.
count operations, like the customers come for like various transactions to change your mobile number to your address to
Hari,
get
Hari.
your
So
PIN.
it's more like okay. So like those are like very administrative, like little like address change and stuff like that, right?
Absolutely. And those are changed. There are some 10 odd activities that we do at a branch banking setup. Like
Mm,
those are the things, like whatever the activities related to your customer information file, we call it a KIF. So when
okay.
you onboard a customer, you create the KIF and then you activate the channels and then you
Mm,
enable the customer to transact. And
okay.
then while the customer is transacting, there can be instances where the customer needs to come back to the branch for various
Mm,
types of activities. Those are the low account activities.
okay. Understood. So interesting problem to solve, huh? And I think here's a way for you to look at it.
Yeah.
You might want to think about how do I lay the digital infrastructure to address all these three things. Starting point,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
obviously your analysis will say, okay, average, CASA customer to onboard them, it's this much,
Yeah.
and then after that to service them, it's this much. You will have certain service parameters that you're looking at, no?
All these are
And
there. That is already I have gathered information.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right? So what I'm saying is now when you're looking at this, okay, you have understood that because of all that time spent on those things, the number of people who are servicing them, you also know
Yeah.
the business side of it where it has a direct financial impact. I would
Correct.
almost look at it, Rajita, from the point of view, okay, so if this is what my business problem is, because of all these activities, I'm very inefficient.
Yeah.
From a banking point of view, can I mean, like obviously the most visible part is okay. If I go through a digital transformation journey,
Yeah.
how can I address these? No? And
Correct.
then the sort of like the how to say it. I would almost think if you break these things down, there's a certain core element that you need to maintain. At the end of the day, all these are customers, no? Correct?
Efficiency, customer experience. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, right. No, what I'm saying is, so your underlying component that connects all these three different problems together is the customer's journey with the bank, right? So that means your base infrastructure they need to align. how do I capture that customer information, right? And then you can go on a phase-wise approach to create the most immediate impact, long-term impact, and then long-term customer satisfaction. So you can work it on like that. And
Okay.
I can,
Yeah. So what you suggest is look at the larger picture, like customer
yeah,
experience at a branch,
yeah,
like Okay.
yeah, yeah. So what I'm saying is, because at the end of the day, Rajita, whether if I'm a Casa customer, if I want to change the address, I'm the customer, no, for argument's
Yes.
sake, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, as a customer, I would want all these three solutions. But from a banking resource point of view, you can't give all those three solutions. So you look at where you can prioritize the most immediately, right? And I
Okay.
like from my experiential point of view, where I feel some of the banks are like is very inefficient is when you want to do a simple address change, right? You have to send a
That's
letter,
right.
maybe have the
Yeah.
signature, right?
Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah.
So, but you have competitors who have already figured this out, right? You can now raise a request through a mobile app, and then you submit the documents, and it's done, right? You don't
That's
even
right.
have to follow it, yeah. So
That's right.
in that sense, and then also like this, I still think to open be a Casa customer, if you want a new customer, you should have the most easiest way to onboard them.
That's
So I
right.
think you need to. So look at where you now. So the way I would look at it also, Rajit, is look at where the bank priorities are, right? So you like new customers, that is your what do you call the sales drive now? Then you have
Yes.
existing customers where you need to satisfy them and make sure that they retain with your bank, right? So
Correct.
I
Correct.
would bring all those different logics to say, okay, these are the three problems. All these three problems can be tied through one phase-wise solution, and
Solution.
here's how
Yeah.
I'm gonna prioritize. For me, what you just described, Radhita, is yes, you're having three problems because of the way you have set up the process. But in my
Yes.
way, I see an amalgamation of that process into one solution, and you're basically going through a phase-wise approach to solve each and every stage.
Absolutely. That is what we are doing also. Yes. Yes. Correct. Correct. So rather than
Uh,
taking things in isolation, I'll talk about the overall benefit. No,
yeah,
Amila, that's what.
yeah. So what you're doing is you're solving a custom experience problem. That's why I said, like, ultimately, whether it's the account level or whether he wants to change something on that account, you're still
Correct.
solving the customer. So then how do you make a seamless experience for the customer is what you're going to solve eventually, which would give you more loyalty, upsizing of the customer, whatever. You get what I'm saying?
Clear on that. Okay. And also, Amila, with regard to the I have the Gantt chart and all of that, but budgets
Yeah.
also I need to bring in, no? I mean, how much
Make
of
it a
money?
this you don't need to bring I think I made a mistake last week. You don't have to bring that budget like at a like a like you don't have to bring the budget. You have to come up with the
Okay.
Gantt chart. That's what if you read the assignment, I think I looked at it after we discussed. You have to make sure that your Gantt chart is there. Now here what you
Okay.
need to do is that on this Gantt chart, Rajita, you need to say,
Yeah.
okay, this project has this. Phase one is going to be, for argument's sake, CASA.
Yes.
Phase
Yes.
two is this. Phase three
Okay.
is this. Once you finish phase three, then what else, right? So that's going to be a project plan.
Okay. 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 Right. Clear. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but I think this is a good thing to solve. When I forgot the bank, your DFCs, right?
Spanish. Yeah. Spanish.
Sorry, Spanish.
Spanish.
I know that
Yeah.
some of the people who at NTB was poached by DFCC in the last few
Oh,
months
yeah.
who ran.
Yes. Because there are these branch banking thing, there are a lot of inefficiencies in that. So,
Yeah,
I want to bring in even change in the branch layout. That is also part
mm,
of this, so that you bring in a little bit of lean in
yeah.
there, so that you have a seamless type of operation. Thereby,
Yeah.
you can redeploy people on more and more business generating activities like
No, for
that.
sure,
And
for sure. And I think if you do this, you it will free up a lot of branch operational aspects because now the customer would be almost self-servicing, right? Anyway, if the
absolutely.
customer wants to do a change, they have to submit a certain document. No? Where you can't
Yeah.
do a address change without giving proof, right? And Now what happens
Yeah.
is someone manually looks at it and update to the system, but it can be done easily, right?
It can be done easily. And then with the new regulations, even the consumer protection guidelines and all, suggest banks to introduce e-signature for transactions and all of that. So those things can be, I'm including it in this.
Yeah. And I
For the
think that you should do that because it's what- I mean like I think I gave you this example, right? If I want to like I told you, I have a limited liability company in a different country, and like for me to open that bank account, just
yeah,
submitting a EIN. I didn't have I don't think they have physical branches at all. They only online only.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
So I mean that's the contrast, right? Um, I again, you won't be able to do only online in a country like Sri Lanka because sometimes people also want to come and there are certain relationship aspect of it, but you can digitize most of it. And
Most of it, there's a
yeah, yeah. And I think for
hybrid
you,
model.
yeah, hybrid model would be important. And I think you also have some case studies globally and regionally how the digitization of the bank has happened and how it's really creating that efficiency.
That is right. And then I can, not only local, I think I will bring in one or two international studies also here. No, I mean, so that will be.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
I
So you
have
look at it. Yeah. Yeah. So you look at it globally, what has worked and what hasn't worked, and then also look at whether there are any what do you call research-based peer-reviewed articles next portal ki hum aati. Just look at those articles and then bring in saying okay based on I mean actually PABC also has a certain client base, right? So your client base is very specific. So think about those few elements as well because you will have
Okay.
to have a certain based on your customer profile also you might have to think about what components of digitization is needed.
That's right.
So
That's right.
you might want to include some elements saying, hey, listen, if you have to do this, we'll have to do some, out of the few different segments, this is the segment we are going to start with and then try it out. So you also bring in those like, how you want to introduce certain elements. What is your iteration process? So then you'll bring some of the design thinking elements, change management, you plug it in. I think you'll have a interesting
Oh,
case study based on what you're describing me.
yeah, that's it. So thanks. I mean, I think I'm clear on that. So I'll share with you some of the writing that we complete.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this
Thank
is an
you.
ongoing project that you're working on at the bank.
Yes. This is the
Okay.
actual project that I'm working. So only thing for approvals and all of that, but we have not done it is sort of in a smaller bank, you go to the board and then you convince them and
Yeah.
you're through. But now
Yeah.
what I'm doing is I'm just bringing in all these academics into this so that, I mean, the entire project will be, I want to cover it in this document, so that will be.
Yeah. No. Good. Because again, your objective should be like, how do you present this to the board, get them to buying in, get them to, give you the resources, all that stuff, right? And
That's right. Yeah.
and then also, I think your biggest challenge would be identifying a good partner who can help you do this.
Absolutely.
I think you
Absolutely.
need
Yeah.
you might have certain set of resources in house, but you will need to bring in some good partners who can be like extended partner ecosystem to help you
Definitely.
build the platform, and then you can also touch upon the exponential organizational stuff what we spoke about.
That's right. That is exactly what we are doing. Yeah.
Harry, super.
Yeah.
I'll see
All
you
right.
in the class then in a bit.
Thank you, Amila. Yeah,
All right.
thanks a lot. See you.
Take care.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.